So today I want to talk about grafting a tree, actually, to make a genetic clone of that exact tree, if you will. We're going to do it with air grafting. It's a pretty foolproof way. I've never had any issues with it. I've never really had it not work, honestly. You could do it with just garbage and stuff around your house almost. So what I do, you will need just a plastic bottle, part of it at least. You'll go get you a tree. Let's pretend that this is still on the tree. This is an apple tree, by the way. And you'll find your branch, but you don't want to get anything like too thick. You don't want too new of growth though either, or else it just won't work. So between pencil and thumb, about that size is what you'll want. So you'll find somewhere good, say that this is on the tree, and then you'll want a nice long open area in between any growth. So right there, you'll take a knife and you will go all the way around the blade, about 2 inches apart. So you'll make a cut all the way around this one, all the way around like this, and a slice down it. You can peel that bark back. Okay, that's realistically pretty much the most difficult part because you're holding a knife. Here's a branch that I prepared, similar. So you can see no bark. There's this underneath the bark, a skin almost, right? And a lot of people will think that if you leave it like this with that skin still on there, it'll work, but you need bare wooden surface, like raw wood. You'll take this. Okay, remember this is still on the tree. This doesn't work off the tree. This is literally going to die probably by tomorrow. You will take a bottle. Some people use plastic bags. I've bottles. It works so much easier for me. So what you do is I fill this with a mix of our own compost that we make and just basically the sand and topsoil we have. You'll put this over full of dirt. Okay. I always do it where the bottle neck is facing where I will eventually cut it off. This is like a guarantee that the roots ain't gonna grow down and out. But you'll pack this full of dirt while it's up there in the air, and then you get it all full, wrap it extremely tight with, like, I just use saran wrap. I've seen people use aluminum foil, people use butcher's paper first. Saran wrap works the best. Personally, you can see when the roots are grown. So it can take, realistically, depending on the season, if you're having a really wet year, really dry year, it all depends. You can do it 8 to 10 weeks is probably a ballpark comfortable average to talk about. I've had cherry trees go in 6 weeks where you just see a giant ball of roots inside of here, and the cellophane, you'll just see white roots everywhere. At that point, you know, you'll cut right behind wherever the roots have started. You can cut it again. You can just use your regular, like a gardening knife. You could use, let's say, a pruning saw. I prefer shears. It just works a lot easier. Clean cut. You get what you want. And then after you cut this off the tree, you will put it into soil, but don't direct to ground it. There's a really good chance of it getting shock and not surviving the transplant. So what you do is, I use 5-gallon buckets, put that ball of roots in there. I don't have one to show you right now, considering it's springtime and 8 weeks from now when this would be happening. But I do have a picture of what it looks like on the tree, because I do have a few out there that are doing this. So this is basically all it looks like when it's all done, wrapped up full of soil. you'll wait, like where you can see all the soil and stuff, you'll just see a bunch of roots like any other plant going, and you know you're good to go. I leave them in the buckets over winter. I store them normally in the shop in this, which is a den, if you will. Then come next year, springtime, they're ready to, you can put them in the ground and they grow pretty fast. There's a lot of benefit to doing it this way. Like, it's almost fail proof, and they grow extremely well if they grow well already here. Like, it's identical clone to that tree. So I only do it on the trees that really produce a lot. Like, I mean, you can see how many flowers these apple trees have. Like, last year I harvested, I gave up. I had friends helping and stuff. Like, I had to use a bucket truck to get a lot of this. Like, I think we picked probably 400 pounds of apples off of just 2 trees that I tended. It was a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. After that, like, you have a tree in the ground that's gonna start producing fruit, or trying to, at least within that first year. Like, if you go seed to fruit, you're looking 3, 4, 5 years for some of them, depending on growing conditions, what you're doing with it, etc. But this way, I don't really let them produce fruit, maybe like 1 or 2, just to help it pull nutrients up through the tree itself. But they, 2, 3 years down the road, you'll end up 6 to 8 foot already, and they're full of fruit, lots of good hefty branches. Like, just make sure you prune them. I mean, pruning is extremely important with fruit trees, because most of them you won't produce fruit or flower or any of that off of old growth. It's all new growth, basically, where you get big bunches of fruit. So if you don't prune them back consistently and in the right spots, it's just a tree more than anything with a bunch of dead branches. But back to topic. This right here is the easiest way to clone and duplicate and expand trees. My goal is, I have about 7 acres, and I'm gonna have an orchard. That's what we're doing with this. Air grafting. It's pretty simple, pretty fun.